This project is a collaboration between Homay, Christian and I. About 3 months ago, Christian approached us and was like, hey guys, I agreed to do the music to a film about 4 years ago or something like that. And it finally had to come up. And he said he has too much on his plate, but he has this fantastic idea that we can collaborate on a film, and that Spitfire also would be able to provide a bit of a budget to actually create a documentary of how to score a film, which doesn't really exist like that out there in the social media.
In this documentary, you get to see us writing music for a feature horror film for our first time, and it includes footage of us trying to conduct, behind the scenes of us recording, and mixing with top engineers.
This stuff says mod track 1, 2, 3, 24, which doesn't make any sense to anybody.
How can we fix
Being serious at all times.
What are we doing, Homay?
We're getting a tambura box and a drum.
What are you up to, Homay?
Sorting out the coffee machine.
Nice.
There'll be a lot of educational in-depth tutorials.
Layering it with Christian's triple felt piano, which he sampled for this project.
As well as a vlog-style documentation working late nights and Ollie checking for ghosts around the office.
So, this is part number 2, composing 1M28.
We are creating new sounds.
One take wonder. Nice.
And having to deal with unforeseen situations.
And there has been a bit of a family incident on my side.
Oh man, I'm so sorry.
It's been a bit of a kind of a everyone carries on with their life.
Yes.
I think
It's kind of get the team together, and that's exactly what it's all about. And listen, love to you and your family.
Hello.
Hiya.
Hello
Hey.
everyone, nice to meet you all.
Hi.
And you.
Nice to meet you
Thank
too.
you very much for doing this, and really looking forward to working with you all.
Likewise.
Likewise, yeah.
Thanks for giving us the opportunity.
That's cool. And looks like you've got a full room there.
Yes, so we've got
Crispin!
Yes.
you know, Crispin.
Good man.
Then in the back there, that's Joshua. He is kind of overseeing the process of the documentary. Then that's James.
Hello.
Experienced
Hi, James.
music editor who's helping us out. Then that's Homay,
Hiya.
who is the
Hello, Homay. Yes, absolutely.
co-composer. I'm Oliver. And then we've got the video and audio team over there recording everything.
Hi. Hi, guys. Hello, hello.
Our spotting session is basically where you get together with the director, then obviously Oliver and I, and then we also had James on board as well because he's been working on quite a few films before as a music editor.
So I've been kind of a music editor for a long time, and I've done quite a lot of these spotting sessions. So I thought it might be helpful for not just for our film, but for you and for everyone else to just give a very brief insight into what we hope to come away with today. At the start of the session, I think we should just have a bit of open discussion based around the notes that you sent. Your sort of overarching thoughts about the music. Perhaps if you don't have to read out the document, but basically if you could just start a discussion about that, and then what we'll start to do is go through the film, and what we're seeking to capture is where do you want there to be music. We want to try and capture the start points if we can, with time codes if we can, or at least an action that we can understand afterwards. And obviously a description from you of what you would like the music to achieve during that part of the film.
David, the director, lives in Australia, so we set up a Skype meeting and screen shared the film to define musical cues and take spotting notes, which took us roughly 2 days. Usually the director or editor lines up existing music to give the composer a rough guideline to the mood of the film, which is called temp music. For this project though, the temp was minimal and gave us enough space to be creative with the score.
Director is really, really lovely, so he's given like brilliant directions, like really good feedback afterwards then as well, and he's been like very clear with what he wants, and therefore it's been fairly kind of easy to write the score.
Yeah, and I think whilst we were going through and he was kind of giving his input for music, I think he also gave us a chance to sort of let us say what we maybe thought would work at certain points. So yeah, it was kind of playing off one another a little bit, which was good.
Christian sent us over his template for a cue sheet that he's put together after all these years of experience. So that was one of the first thing, and that's been kind of the main sheet for us a little bit. Now we've been working off that. So like putting in production notes once you start working, etc. Choosing the sound palette really, and getting instruments and the decision that we're going to work on separate cues, but that we're going to see each other in the studio and check up on each other's process and give some feedback and find the sound for the film.
Can I just ask you one question about the triangle track, because because of the voice in it, it has a kind of a slightly childlike quality.
Yeah.
And obviously the film is sort of about childhood to a certain extent. Is that something that you deliberately chose to capture, or just a happy sort of undercurrent?
Possibly happy undercurrent, but at the same time, I mean, it's not really a child's voice, is it? It's kind of it's a girl's voice, but it's a young woman's voice, really, and that seems very much to personify the main character there. So sometimes I don't want to be too prescriptive too. It's a very good question actually, but if it's like a question about do I want voices in there or not, I don't mind. I don't have some particularly really strong feelings about that one way or another. But it certainly lends an accuracy to the sound there, I think, James.
Yeah. Okay. So that gives us a flavour. I think it's important for each department to sort of understand what the other is doing. Otherwise, you come to your final mix and then they produce a drone that's a semitone different from our drone, and it sounds a bit horrible. Right. So I think we should crack on into the film.
So at that stage, his voice would be a deep reverb. Now here, actually, there isn't any music here, but I was thinking about putting. It might be quite nice to have something in there, possibly around about 4:12, because I'd like to partly to mislead the audience, but also there is a relationship. You know, her character, her soul. She's got a good soul, a very kind of caring. And kind soul as this girl, which is why it's kind of more tragic what happened to her. But I'd like to give the impression, and what happens obviously, she begins to bond with this guy, and it'd be quite nice if possibly around about 4:12, if we get a little sense of that there's a lot of pathos to his condition at this stage, and that she can feel, and there's a lot of pathos to her condition. We can tell as an audience that she has suffered some ill fortune and something terrible has happened in her life, and she's desperate to escape from it.
I mean, yes, there was the temp track, but we didn't really have to hold ourselves onto it that much.
So she's convinced us, because I think it's the psychological thing, is whether she really has seen a ghost or whether it's all in her head.
Oh, right.
So that's what I was wondering about, whether after so at this stage she thinks it's a ghost, but after she said the hello at 30...
49 maybe?
30, 48, yeah.
Hello?
47.
Nothing answers. It may work just playing the rest of it without any music. And I was wondering whether around about 31:25, simply because, you know, she said the guy's name, Arthur, so you're thinking, was it a ghost or was it maybe just him that she saw? And I think that whole thing of coming around the corner around about 31:24 as she walks the corner, I think that is a shot that as the audience you're watching it and you're thinking, a classic literally over her shoulder thing and coming up to a corner. I think you watch that as the audience thinking there's something around that corner. So therefore it might be quite nice to build that up. So now I think then the audience you think there's something around the corner. Oh, it's not around the corner. There's going to be something through that door. So I think this may be one of those occasions where we're kind of slightly misleading the audience.
Right. So,
but possibly.
Where exactly would you feel to come in? Just
Possibly
after this.
31, about 31, 24, 20. So as it changes to the over the shoulder shot.
Okay. Okay.
And I think.
Okay, so it should be done in the same way. So the hand first, and then like a sting or
certainly for the hand, but not for the second sting where she sees the ghost when she's run out of the room, sees the ghost again. I mean, it would be good if that's in there, but it doesn't have to be a sting as overtly as the second sting. I mean, definitely one there.
So you want something on the hand, or just after?
I think so. Yeah, I think something to kind of make the audience jump at that moment.
Okay, because currently it's slightly afterwards.
Okay.
That's why
hand
I'm
and then sting rather than hand and
Sorry.
sting at the same time. I think is more the question. So
Yeah. I think on the hand.
on the hand.
Sorry, just show me again, would you?
Okay.
Play just a bit before me.
Here the sting is just after she touches the hand.
Oh yeah, have it hand and sting. Yeah, it's a bit late there.
Okay.
Okay, so sorry, just to clarify, you want it as is, or this thing on the
want the sting a
actual?
little bit earlier, so it comes on the actual.
Okay,
piece,
okay.
yes.
Yeah.
We can wrap it up after this cue and
Yeah.
get back
that'd be good.
together.
I'm afraid my eyes are starting to grow heavy. I do apologise.
They always do in spotting sessions, even if you're not doing it at 1 o'clock in the morning, they do. So
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very
thanks very much.
All right.
Pleasure meeting you.
Thank you,
Nice
James.
to meet
Thanks,
you.
guys in the back.
See you later.
Take care. Bye bye. Shall I just read back as we go through the scene what we have? Yeah?
That'd be
Okay, we have a little sting when Arthur's bed is empty, when the camera swings over. Okay. The temp is quite good here, you said. So the music shall be quite unstable here.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's in a dream stage.
Well, it's actually at that stage what she's supposed to be doing is having made a mental adjustment and thinking, well, I'm going to, because she has been saying, I'm going to stop it, I'll stop it. And she should at that point have a turning point of thinking, a decision moment, saying to herself, how do I stop it? I am going to have to, despite my worst fears, I'm going to have to go back into the occult stuff that's there on the table and delve into it, go deeper into it and find a way of banishing the ghost by going deeper into it. So it's, I guess it's a moment of trepidation because she is going to have to engage with the supernatural.
Musically is also a new act basically there, no? When she kind of takes this decision.
Yeah, true, yeah.
So
yeah.
What would you say there, James?
I'd say we'd call it a new cue, but it'd probably be connected to the previous one.
Yeah.
So I would just start it at this point the other one ends.
M23.
If it were me, I don't think it's nothing to worry about if the cues all join up to one another at this stage. It's not unusual for a film to have the most music in the last act of the film.
I think you discovered the tempora box and then saw that it was also semi-acoustic.
I just wanted to have some like really dark, weird drones. Kind of, yeah. for a horror movie. Maybe not the most creative thought, but we also didn't have a tempura box kind of sampled already, and I thought maybe we just get it in and maybe it can turn into a labs afterwards as well.
Yes, is your hair all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you all seat belted?
Seat belted.
Buckled up? Where are you going today?
Well, I'm actually going to accompany Homay, and we are going to buy some instruments. Tempura box, semi-acoustic one, together with a mini steel pan, something like that.
Shall we eat something first?
Always food first. So let's see one of the instruments we're buying.
Oh yeah, so but the main reason we're here is for this guy over here, which is the tempura box.
It's got cool. It's got a pickup as well.
Yeah, it's got a pickup here on the side. So yeah, semi-acoustic. And
It's going to put it through some pedals maybe and stuff.
then we have the steel drum that we bought, and it has these really nice different harmonics.
Sounds beautiful.
No. But I think, I think if we mess around with the sound of it and again put it through some pedals and just morph it, we should get some really nice spooky sounds hopefully.
Cool. We're now just waiting for the money to come through. I think that's the business happening.
Alright. So we have our instruments on our way back to the office, straight into the studio, and we'll try them out. Also, I brought my violin today, which I bought in a whim at some point. I'm gonna use this bow maybe and try to just bow the tambura box and see how that works.